When you hear this, turn the page. This story about Mr. T is called Mystery of the Mind Thieves.
This here's Mr. T, capital T that rhymed with B. Here's another story about my team of young gymnasts. Robin and Kim and Woody and Jeff and the others. Not forgetting Miss Bisbee and young Spike and, of course, Dozer the dog. We travel all over the place, taking part in competitions, and we keep getting involved in mysteries. But remember, the important thing about being a team is you all help one another. No good being selfish and not caring about other folks. You help them, they help you. That's the way to win through.
The team is competing at Seattle, and Kim is going through her beam routine. Robin looks worried.
There's something wrong, Mr. T. She's off her form.
Sure is, Robin. She's distracted. I think she was expecting to see someone in the bleachers, and now she's upset because they didn't show.
Kim attempts to do a handstand, but her eyes go to an empty seat in the VIP box, and she loses balance and falls from the beam. Robin rushes over to help her.
Kim, are you hurt?
No, my pride's gonna be in intensive care for a while.
Mr. T calms her down.
Forget it. Just be glad you're okay.
Guess I should also be glad my father didn't show up. He's in Seattle on business for his company, Pantronics. You'd think he could spare the time to come and see me compete, but no.
Mr. T interrupts her.
Don't go jumping to conclusions, girl. He could have a good excuse.
After the competition, Mr. T drives the team back to their hotel. When they have left the bus, Miss Bisbee remains in her seat.
Worried about Kim Bisbee?
Oh, my stars and garters, yes, Mr. T. She and her father are so close.
Yeah, a girl like Kim's got to be mighty hurt right now.
Kim is traveling in the hotel elevator with Robin, Woody, and Jeff. She tells them that her father is also staying at this hotel and that she's going to introduce them all to him. Woody is not so sure, and he whispers as much to Robin.
We ought to do this later when Kim's not so upset.
Maybe, but I think we should be with her when she sees her dad, Woody, just in case things get hairy.
The gymnasts arrive outside an hotel room door, and Kim knocks. The door is opened by Kim's father, Tom Nakamura. His voice is cold and irritable.
What do you want?
Kim is surprised by her father's manner.
Dad? I'm sorry you couldn't make it to the meet.
I'm too busy for all that stuff. I've been working here all night, and I've no time for you now.
He slams the door in their faces, but not before Jeff notices that his shoes are splattered with fresh mud. Kim runs off in tears and Robin goes after her. Jeff shows Woody the fresh mud on the carpet. How could he get mud on his shoes if he didn't go out all night? Kim ought to know about this. Inside Nakamura's room, a muffled figure speaks to him in a voice disguised by an electronic filter.
You did well, my computer programming friend. Of course I knew you would. After an injection of my mind control formula, you have no choice but to do whatever I command. As long as you have more classified information on Project Pegasus that I can steal from your mind, I don't want you running off again through the muddy streets to gymnastic meets. So you're going to spend the night where I can keep an eye on you.
Woody and Jeff are surprised to see Mr. Nakamura leave his room with the strange muffled figure. Outside, Kim and Robin are walking beside the hotel pool. Mr. Nakamura's controller doesn't want Kim to see them, so he drags him into a storeroom beside the pool. But they knock over some metal pails, and Kim calls out.
Who's in there?
The controller is annoyed.
She mustn't follow us, and I'll make sure she won't.
He rolls out a large cart loaded with metal chairs and pushes it straight at the two girls. Then he pushes out another and another. The gymnasts sidestep and somersault out of the way of the first cart, but the second knocks Robin into the pool. She comes to the surface, but the chairs have snagged her windbreaker, and the weight of them pull her under. Kim tries to help, but she's not strong enough. The controller leads Mr. Nakamura away and leaves Robin to drown. Kim calls frantically for help. Mr. T hears her cries and steps out onto the balcony of his hotel room, which overlooks the pool. Without hesitation, he dives into the pool and soon releases Robin. Something strange is obviously going on, and Woody tells them about the creepy-looking guy he and Jeff saw leading Kim's father out of the hotel. Mr. T narrows his eyes.
What kind of business brings your dad to Seattle, Kim?
I'm not sure. He was supposed to take me to a special luncheon tomorrow at the Space Needle restaurant.
Mr. T looks thoughtful.
Maybe we all better go, in case there's something fishy on the menu.
When the music stops, turn the cassette over. At the restaurant, the registrar refuses to let them in as he cannot find their guest pass. Robin whispers to Jeff that the man wants a tip. Jeff has the answer. Here's a tip for you. Try looking under T.
T?
Mr. T crosses his arms over his chest.
Yeah, T, as in trial, tribulation, and trouble. Which is what you're gonna get if you don't find that pass.
The registrar gulps nervously.
Why, here it is. Silly me. I must have misplaced it.
They go into the room. There is a banner hung across it reading, "Welcome Pantronic Scientists." Scientists of both sexes and of various ages and races stand about, talking in little groups. Mr. T turns to Kim.
There's your father. Anybody else here who'd know what your dad was working on?
Well, there's Dr. Harper in the wheelchair. And Dr. Yarby. I know she's working with Dad.
Kim goes over to her father, who can remember nothing of the night before. He says he didn't even know Kim was in Seattle and walks away from her. She is very upset.
Why does he keep treating me like that? What have I done?
Mr. T gives her a grim look.
What makes you think it's got anything to do with you, Kim? Your dad could have a problem.
A demonstration of a computerized robot arm is taking place on the other side of the room. Dr. Harper tries to lecture about it and its importance to the government, but then he begins to act strangely, like Kim's father. A security guard says he is unwell and wheels him away, while another guard wheels off the electronic equipment. Jeff spots something. Those guards! They don't have stripes on their pants the way the other guards do. Mr. T understands.
They're phonies. They're stealing that stuff.
They chase after the crooked guards, who push the equipment at them. The team backflip and forward tuck and roll out of the way. The robot arm grabs Mr. T and lifts him in the air.
Don't worry about me. Go after Dr. Harper.
The robot drops Mr. T with a crash onto the registrar's desk and smashes it. Mr. T gives the robot a kick, and it flashes sparks and goes limp. He grabs the metal robot arms and ties them in a knot. The gymnasts have followed the crooks down to the parking lot and see them putting Dr. Harper into a van. Jeff vaults over a car and lands in front of it. The controller turns to the driver.
Run him down!
No way! I ain't facing no murder rap!
The van reverses, but whichever way it goes, one of the gymnasts vaults or somersaults into its path. At last, the controller pushes Dr. Harper out of the van.
You want him! You get him!
The doctor's wheelchair rolls rapidly out of the parking lot into the busy thoroughfare. The gymnasts rush after it to rescue Dr. Harper, and the diversion allows the crooks to escape. The team talk to Dr. Harper and find that he can remember nothing since he checked in at his hotel. just like Kim's father. Robin has worked out what is happening.
I think somebody's fooling with these scientists' minds.
Kim is aghast.
I never thought of that.
Mr. T looks at her seriously.
Of course you didn't. You were too wrapped up in how your feelings were hurt. Your dad's in trouble, Kim. You gotta think of him first, not how that trouble affects you.
Robin remembers something.
Dr. Yarby's working with Dr. Harper and Kim's dad. She could be in danger, too.
Mr. T finds Dr. Yarby's address from the phone book and drives the team over to her apartment in the bus. He jumps down onto the sidewalk and turns back to the others.
You stay here. If those mind thieves are upstairs, it could be a bad scene.
Mr. T goes up to Dr. Yarby's apartment while the others remain in the bus. Time passes, and Robin gets impatient.
Let's go. Mr. T's been gone too long.
Robin and Kim find Dr. Yarby's apartment door wide open, and nobody there but Mr. T. His face is blank and expressionless as he raises a lamp above his head and advances towards them. Robin is horrified.
Oh, no! He's just like those scientists now! Somebody's controlling his mind, too!
But just as they expect the lamp to come crashing down on them, Mr. T hurls it aside.
No! No! Nobody can make me hurt my friends! Nobody!
He puts his hands to his head and passes out. But Miss Bisbee is on hand with her smelling salts, which soon bring him round. Woody and Jeff arrive and say that they have seen Kim's father being driven off by the crooks. But where were they going? Mr. T remembers that before he was given the injection to take over his mind, the controller had talked about a plane in an outdoor jet exhibition just south of town. They all pile into the bus and drive as fast as they can to the exhibition. There they find the crooks about to take off with Mr. Nakamura in an old VTOL plane. Mr. T drives the bus straight at the plane and collides with its tail assembly. The plane can no longer take off. The crooked guards jump out and run away, pursued by the kids. The controller finds his way barred by Mr. T.
Come on, big shot. Take me on now. My brain is sane, and I'll cause you some pain.
The controller turns to run and is faced by Kim.
What have you done to my father?
She stops as the controller's slouch hat falls off, revealing Dr. Yarby and the electronic gadget she uses to disguise her voice. She pushes Kim hard against the plane, and the girl falls senseless to the ground. Mr. Nakamura climbs down from the plane. Relying on the effect of the mind control injection, Dr. Yarby calls to him to run with her to a limousine. She wants to escape with him and hand over his secret knowledge to a foreign power. But Mr. Nakamura ignores her and goes to his daughter's aid.
I cannot leave her. She's my daughter. She needs help.
Mr. T grabs Dr. Yarby. She scowls at him.
My mind control compound was foolproof till you interfered.
Mr. T looks across to where Kim is being embraced by her father. Tears of joy stream down their faces.
You should have known there was something stronger than your formula. Love. Maybe you can control somebody's mind, but you're not ever gonna control their heart.